Hello and welcome to the video by TrumpExcel. I'm Sumit Bansal, and in this video I will show you how to group the data in Power Query. So here I have a data set, and let me open this in Power Query by going to the Data tab and clicking on From Table Range. This opens the query editor and I have my data here. Now what Power Query also allows you to do is group this data based on the column that you specify. So this is the entire data set, and usually what we have seen so far is that we transform this data, put it in the workbook, and then we use pivot table to create those groups or create those summaries. But in Power Query you can also create some groups, and also remember that Power Query can handle millions of rows, a lot more number of rows than you can handle in an Excel workbook. So sometimes if you have a huge data set, then it may make more sense for you to group the data right within Power Query before you put it in Excel. So here I have this sales data, and what I want to do is group this by, let's say, item. So what I would do is I would select item here and then go to transform group by. Now there are two parts to it. First is basic and the second one is advanced. Let me first show you the basic grouping, which can be done on one column. So here it's already selected, item column is already selected here, and it'll ask me what's the name of the new column that you want. And let's say I want to know what are the average printer quantity that is sold. So I have this data and I want to know that these are all the quantities there, but I want to know per record, per transaction, what is the average quantity of printer that is sold. So I can name this as average, and here I need to specify the operation. And in this case, if I say average as the operation, it will ask me what columns average do I want. So you can see these are all the aggregate. If I select count, then it will not give me this option because it will count these items here. So it will give me the number of printers or the number of whiteboards. But if I select, let's say, sum, or I select average, then it asks me which columns sum do you want, or which columns average do you want. In this case I want the average of the quantity, because I cannot average out printer here or a whiteboard here. I can only average out a quantity. Now when I click OK, it will give me this grouping here. So it will give me this small table where I can now see that printer, the average quantity sold is 12, and in case of projector the average quantity sold is 13.6. So you can group based on one column and then specify what kind of grouping you want. Let me delete this and let me show you what advanced grouping is. So I would again go back to group by, and instead of basic this time, let me select advanced. And what I want to see here is what is the average quantity of each item sold by each sales rep. So in this case I want to know what's the average quantity of the printer sold by Laura, and what's the average quantity of printer sold by Stacy and Bob, and similarly what's the average quantity of whiteboard sold by Laura and everyone. So in this case I have advanced selected here. My first column selected here is item, but now I would add a grouping to it and I would say also group it by sales rep. So now first grouping is item and the next grouping is sales rep, and now give me the value, and let me call this average, and here I would select average and it will say the average of the quantity. So I'm saying for each item and each sales rep, give me the average quantity. So now when I click OK, see what happens. It gives me a slightly bigger table because now I have all these items here, all these sales rep here. If you want, you can quickly sort this data in an ascending order so that you have all these grouped together. So I have all the diaries and I have the sales rep name here. If you want, you can also sort these names. So now I have diary and I have all these names with their average quantity. Similarly, I have office chair and these names with average quantity. So this is a little more meaningful data. And if you have a huge data set, then even this might come out to be hundreds of thousands of rows. So you can then feed this data to a pivot table, put this in a workbook and create a pivot table out of this. So this is how you can group data in Power Query. I hope you found this useful. Thank you and have a nice day.